Welcome back to the Drive-In Asylum double feature, the third segment. We made it all the way till almost 1:30 in the morning Eastern time, and the Oracle. I don't know about everybody else, but this movie really blew my planchette. I
knew
thought it
you
was
would
so
enjoy
good.
it. How about the fashions in this movie, guys?
Oh my goodness. You did everything that you could to prepare us.
Yeah.
But there was nothing you could do to prepare us. I absolutely loved it. The wardrobe was absolutely incredible.
The villainess is really fabulous. Like her hair is great. All her outfits, she's well put together. Our heroine, maybe not so much. That Oshkosh Bagosh outfit that begins the movie is something else.
I'm not saying I didn't like the way she looked, because she was very meticulous about the way she looked, but it was like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And maybe
the looks were immaculate.
Yeah.
She had her own style, though. Like, you can't say that she wasn't trying something, you know? It's also a world where every man has a porno mustache. I mean, every single man. There was only one guy that didn't have a mustache in the whole movie, two, and the other one wasn't a guy. So it's
yeah.
Bill, we were talking about it as we were watching it too. It unites the supernatural and the non-supernatural too. Like there's real menace, and then the menace coming from whatever she's bringing through from this hand. And for Mike Justice, I want a Demonoid crossover with this movie, where the hand from Demonoid and the blue hand from the Oracle unite to create great terror. Only two women with insane fashion sense can stop it. Samantha Eggar and our star of this movie. Unfortunately,
they meet on a plane.
Yeah.
They get to talking about their Mexican vacation, and all of a sudden they discover they have this severed hand. It's shared history.
The hand. Do you think it's the hand, Bill?
Whatever your problem is, I hope it's not that damn hand.
Scritchy scratch sound effects on the if you guys watched it with closed captioning, there's a lot of like scritchy noises, scratchy noises throughout the movie. What I really like about it is like it seems like it's going to be normal until you get to the scene with the building superintendent repeatedly stabbing himself as Lovecraftian monsters crawl all over his skin.
Particularly adorable, tiny little monsters.
Yeah,
I love them. They look like wacky wall walkers. You used to get them in Rice Krispies.
They even had their own Saturday morning show. There was a wacky wall walker cartoon even. Yeah, I heard that was my favorite part. John's like, "Oh, that monster is adorable." He yelled out whenever he first showed up and just plopped out of the box.
It was cute.
Yeah,
it went kind of Deadly Spawn there for a second with all this like.
Yeah, and like when he shows back up in the elevator with a knife sticking out of his eye with like the green lighting, this has a kind of terror vibe, and by that I mean it's like another step removed. Like there's Suspiria to terror to this. It's like some of the same stuff, especially those hands that show up in the bathroom, the clawed up hairy hands that tear down that curtain when she's trying to escape in the bathroom in that one scene.
Oh yeah, Helena Marcus.
Yeah. And the hands also show up to drag the husband's head down the chute.
Yes.
I always wonder about these movies. How did they explain this to the cops? Like everybody around her died. Like almost everybody she knew has died.
Was there a body? I mean, did somebody find a headless body in that laundry room or the garbage room?
One imagines. Mike just explained why I like this movie. He said production value wise, it's somewhere between Terror and the movies they cut down to make Night Train to Terror. 100%. It's in that same wacky world. So yeah. Yeah, and John said it feels like Tales from the Crypt. It has some like especially the end, like the husband showing back up in the car to choke out the ex-wife. There's a really weird conversation near the end whenever they have when they're driving to that factory, and she's like, "What was it like when he touched you?" And she's like, "He made me sick every time." The woman back, and it's like a very like lady to lady conversation, but it's not, and it has like a really strange air in it. And I really dig that. And man, how about that melding at the end too?
Ooh, I love the body melt.
Yeah.
Our two movies had a toxic waste common thread.
Yeah. And Darren said, thoughts on the scene with the main character on the floor with the wind machine. Love it. That whole apartment wrecking scene. Amazing. Their apartment's great except for the kitchen. The kitchen feels kind of not like the kitchen. But that part was awesome. And then it
was a little difficult for me to believe that she needed to crawl the way that she did to get from one end of the room to the other.
I think her hair wasn't even really blowing out, was it? It was more like she was on one of those gravity rides all of a sudden. Like the hellhole, the rotor.
Yeah. I do like that there's a lot of Pulp Fiction lighting coming out of the case, too. Like a green light that kind of emerges out, so I dug that a lot.
Same.
And how about the visor on the guy in the magic store? What a choice, again.
It was very 80s new wave.
Yeah.
Dead or Alive, 1883.
I like how he pretty much told her, she's like, well, I shouldn't have any problems with that. The hand, right? He goes, no, it can let demons into your life, and you should, like, just get away from it. And she's like, oh, all right. Not that everything hasn't gone wrong already.
Yeah, that guy reminded me of Tom Noonan
in
Ty West's movies, like House of the Devil. And Tom Noonan played a similar character in The Roost, I think.
Yeah.
The one that had the horror host wraparound thing. I think it was The Roost. And he was a horror host character in it that behaved exactly like that man in the bookstore. It was eerily
similar. Great in
similar.
House of the Devil because he says so many weird things. He's like, oh, well, it's not a child, it's grandmother, but she's fine. You probably won't ever see her. He is just so off kilter in that movie. He's great.
I think that whole scene at the end where they're in the graveyard is really very affecting because he's like, no, don't kill me. I don't care. Just make sure that this ritual continues.
Yeah. That and I like the part where Mary sits down with her in the beginning. She's like, I bet all the boys love you. And he interrupts this little thing that happens.
I would bask in the presence of Mary Warner.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I would take all the posters down for their job too and just apply for it myself. But I'm glad you guys dug the Oracle. It's
very much so.
If anybody liked it in the chat, other Roberta Findlay's movies feel pretty good. Darren, I disagree. I really like Carolyn Capers' powers. I think she wasn't greatness, but I think she could grow into a good scream queen kind of thing. I kind of dig her in this.
I think we all said that we liked her.
Yeah.
Did you like her?
I did.
I thought I can't believe this is the only movie she ever did. She was very likable. Even without, remember that thing she wore where she had a scarlet ribbon around her?
The neck ribbon.
With the little Elizabethan thing and the cameo in the middle of it or whatever that is. Mike hit it right on the head. That's what we said. She's a cross between Jessica Harper and young Jennifer Connelly, Phenomena era Jennifer Connelly. She has that look. That party, though. I like that they said at that party, the guy's like, let me go buy you a drink. I don't know if that was a turn of phrase or there really was a cash bar at this apartment party, which seemed like a big thing. I probably wouldn't do that. But, when you hire a transgender killer to murder people at the party. Why? Well, you asked that, and I don't know if anyone else knows. Why is was she so slow chasing her at the end? She was really having trouble catching up to her.
She was falling all over the place like she was drunk.
Yeah, it became really clumsy all of a sudden.
I don't understand that character because, at the end, the villainess in her fur coat, her understated fur that she wears with her angular haircut.
Yeah. And
she says, I should have known better than to hire a woman. So this person identifies as a woman, we presume, because that's what she calls her.
Yeah.
And then, but there are other characters in the movie that accept her as a man, and they talk to her as if she's a man. So I'm like, is she living two lives, or is this just? I didn't understand that part. I was really confused.
It's not
about that
really
character.
developed. And you're right. The end has so much Halloween 2 vibes. And then RoboCop vibes, as John said.
Yes.
When
The
he
body
did-
melt.
Yeah. I didn't see that coming. I'm like, whoa. Pretty sweet.
That was inspired. I'm really grossed out by acid deaths in movie. Like, I was horrified by the doctor's murder in Dead and Buried, where they squirt acid up into his sinuses. And it pisses me off because I read an interview with the guys who did that makeup effect. It was in Fangoria. And it really does not, it's one of the most unrealistic makeup effects in Dead and Buried, I think. That does
Compared
not
to
look
the rest of the movie, especially that time lapse effect is really graphic.
Yeah, I mean, the rest of it was Stan Winston.
Yeah.
But he didn't do that effect. That was another, because they added that scene later. That the doctor was never supposed to have, it was always dead in the original script. But they decided the movie needed more gore, so they decided to make the doc a murder in the scene, and they hired this other crew to do this effect. And they told the crew they wanted a head that would melt all in one take with just like no cutaways. And they were like, okay. So if you watch it with that in mind, they did a really good job, but they ended up cutting away anyway. Like they cut to the nurse's face, like while she's watching it, and they were like, if we had known they were going to cut away, we could have done a lot more that would have looked better in the movie. But we did what they asked us to do. So that pisses me off to this day. It's a really gross
RoboCop
idea.
melting one's my favorite because it's just so almost unnecessary, which makes it great. You know what I mean? I remember the first time I saw it in the drive-in, I was like, "Holy shit! there's body parts everywhere." And it's awesome. But yeah, there's a lot going on in here. I would like this movie to be remade and make more sense of it. But you know, it's a dream.
Thanks to everyone for joining us in the third segment here. Like we got 16 people.
Whoa.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, back in the day, there were like 4 or 5 that would be able to.
I remember those days. Yeah.
It's exciting, and remember next week's Mako Jaws of Death.
Really excited to check that one out. I've never seen it.
Oh man, Bill did a
It's
whole shark issue of the zine, and it's wonderful.
Yeah, that was special number 4.
Yeah,
I think. Yeah. At one point, that was our biggest issue. And we've since sailed way past the page count in that one. But I think we're actually at the limit of what the printer can handle. Because it's just like a Xerox machine that folds those things, you know. And they were like, yeah, you're running close to the point where you can't do that anymore.
it's going to be a 2-part issue, like part issue A and B. I really like the way that the dead man looks. The husband, like it's
in the car at the end.
Yeah, it's like kind of what we talked about in the last movie. It's obviously not realistic at all, but I like that about it. It's like kind of puppety.
Yeah, it has style and character.
Yeah, you said a dark ride, John.
Yeah.
That was for the that was a slightly different scene with like a corpse emerging from the darkness as if on a dolly, an otherwise stationary creature.
Yeah.
I like to imagine them filming those things.
Oh.
Yeah.
Someone said, I like when the head comes through and breaks the glass in the hospital. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And all of the shards impale the doctor.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, Mike. I really don't know why he needed to murder the girl unless he's not connected. If she's only connected to the hand, which makes her spiritually active and able to see all things, and then she's connected to the spirit world now. Is this the first of her many adventures? If is this a pilot for a weekly series? I wish. But yeah, I really like the look of the hand itself. Like it's creepy that it's blue and has that ring and the plume. I feel like between her fashion sense and the hand, they were destined to meet each other. Like it looks like if you told her to make that hand, that's what she would make.
I think you're right.
She would have made whatever
Hey,
was 10 years
maybe
prior.
she did. Maybe she created her own costumes and created that prop.
Yeah, exactly. That's how you said
That's a good point.
Yeah, they're like, oh, we can't use a Ouija board. I don't know what we're gonna do. She's like, hold on, I have something, and she produced this blue hand with it. He probably sells them on Etsy now. We should have looked before.
Well, that's interesting. You said they couldn't use a Ouija board. Did we address that already?
I don't know if we did or not. Yeah, they originally wanted to use a Ouija board for this movie, and Parker Brothers turned it down. But you know what? That feels like IMDb bullshit to me because like there's a scene in this when she's getting chased by the car down the sidewalk where obviously they applied for no permits whatsoever. So it's like, why would you ask if you can use the Ouija board if you're going to dangerously drive down a sidewalk and film it from within the car?
Also, I always love how people in movies can always outrun cars.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had a car chase me up the sidewalk before. It's not there. You don't outrun it. Yeah.
Those were some wide sidewalks. I mean, that was a boat.
Yeah.
What was that?
All the cars in this were gigantic. In the universe of this movie, cars are all from the 50s. Fashions are from the 1800s. Like it's
that diner too.
Yeah. Oh, the diner was amazing. Yeah. I like.
Was this a period piece?
Yeah. It's like a nexus of all realities period piece.
Yeah.
It's like people come from all over. Yeah. I like that whenever the killer is on the phone, she stabs that Happy Hanukkah balloon right before she leaves.
Oh.
She's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
She went there. She had issues. She was like
Hates all humanity, really. Also, she survived getting hit with a frying pan to the top of the head. And
although it looked like such a light bump.
Yeah.
Shot.
Also, like, she got burned a lot. She got burned by coffee, and she just had a little tiny thing here.
Right, just on one cheek.
She had like a full face of coffee. Like it was a lot of coffee.
that was unrealistic. Yeah,
Yeah.
she would have at least been really, really red.
Yeah.
And she what a Mrs. Voorhees moment that was.
Yeah.
To get hit with that frying pan.
Yeah, it's also like it's weird that like they kind of teased that like she and the other guy were like partner killers, and then that really wasn't followed up on either.
That's true.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's like two movies spliced together.
Yeah. It's like a whole bunch of movies spliced together. It's like what the other thing too is like her friend survived, right? Like the friend who kept wanting to send her to therapy. And like,
oh yeah,
she's like, and I can just imagine. She's like, I set you up with my therapist, and then she was killed in an elevator. She's like, and I had that therapist for a long time. You got my therapist killed. Like there was none of that.
And now that you mention it, it was kind of disappointing not to see what happened in that elevator.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we never did get to see.
Yeah.
We were hoping that she would reappear as an apparition like that stab in the eye guy.
Yeah. Though, and the other nice thing was really seeing the Times Square footage was pretty wild too. Like very brief, but still pretty cool. There was the place offering 5 slabs of beefcake. Where's the beef? It's in here, is what that one sign said. So probably not.
Have you guys ever seen Massage Parlor Murders?
Oh yeah.
It has the most amazing footage of Times Square and 42nd Street in it. It's like a travelogue for 70s New York.
Wow.
It's amazing.
When was it released roughly? Like what decade?
73
Okay.
was the year. Sandra Peabody from Last House on the Left has a role in it. And there are a couple other familiar faces. George Zunzan is in it. Zunza. Cully Sawyer in Salem's Lot, and he was on Law and Order. He's in that movie briefly. A couple other familiar faces. Oh, Beverly Bonner from Basket Case is in it. She doesn't do much though. She's just briefly glimpsed in. Sam, aren't they like? She's one of the prostitutes in this massage parlor.
I like that there's like a cop that's with one of them too, and it's kind of like their romance story, like in the midst of all this sleaze. And massage. It also has an exclamation point at the end, which I appreciate in the movie. Leave it as an
The
exclamation.
title.
Yeah.
It's about on the level of a Doris Wishman film, though.
Yeah.
Like it's a little bit better than a Doris Wishman film, but not much.
Mm.
And it's like the dialogue is very rough, and sometimes like they're not. The person who's speaking is never on camera, so that it could be dubbed in later and stuff like that. But it's just fascinating. It's a really fascinating film. We should do that on the show. I think it's on Tubi.
Yeah, we definitely should. Steve brought up too. I totally forgot the Dress to Kill moment where there's a chase through a museum, and she freaks out when she sees a Native American sculpture. Which
We were getting there.
yeah, Bill's like,
Oh my god, I lost it when she saw that display and screamed like, ah!
that scene was not, as much as I like Roberta Findlay, not shot as well as Brian De Palma's scene in the art museum in Dress to Kill, but that's okay. I wasn't expecting.
I mean, the Hitchcock pastiche of Dress to Kill. I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah. I like when he's like, people say I take a lot from Hitchcock, but I don't really see it. And I'm like, okay, cool. I guess.
Come on.
Yeah.
That is such bullshit.
Yeah, it's like you can just say it and people probably feel better about it. Like no one's gonna. You still made the movies. You still did.
It's not like people don't like you.
Yeah, you still do cool stuff. And he said, no, I don't do that. That's unfair. I don't.
I've heard many people argue that yes, it's takes after Hitchcock and actually improves on it. Even it's nothing to be ashamed of.
Yeah, I mean, who else would you want to be compared to? Like, there's not really. I mean, that's like praise, I think. But also, we were talking during this about the parallels. Everybody misses what we talk about during the movie, so but the parallels between De Palma and Argento, both family. De Palma famously was sent to spy on his cheating father by his mother. So the scene where the kid tapes his, trying to find out who the killer is, that character is someone De Palma really identifies with. Similarly, in Phenomena, the story that she tells about coming down for Christmas and all the presents are there and the mother had left, that really happened to Argento. So
Wow.
It's like both of them there's a lot of parallels, and they both say that they never watch each other's movies again, and they both don't watch Hitchcock movies. Okay, whatever, guys. Like, just you're both
I don't
great.
think that's true.
Yeah. Argento is absolutely influenced by Hitchcock as well.
He does talk in Fear about trying to interview him and never getting to meet him. That was like his goal to interview him when he was a film critic and didn't get to. He did get to talk to Fritz Lang though, but
Oh wow.
Yeah. So,
How old was Fritz Lang?
very old by that point. It's when he made the later 60s Dr. Mabuse. He was in Rome and did interview, but he interviewed a lot of folks. I'm just at the point now where he's getting ready to write his first movie, and it's like 100 pages in. So I know it's interesting hearing about all the pre-movie stuff and his weird obsessions and stuff. So I'm excited. I'll report more on later. I do know a couple of the other things that are coming up, so I'm excited to find out. So of his life. De Palma never wrote a book about himself. He did get a documentary.
Vince, there was a lot of screaming.
Yeah, the scene with the wind tunnel is like peak screaming. Like, she's just like, and I like that conveniently it puts something in front of the door so the husband can't open the door.
Okay, was this Alucarda level screaming?
No, nothing is.
Oh my goodness. Alucarda, so near and dear to my heart.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my God. John McDevitt, you were in the right place.
Yeah. That movie, our older dog lost his mind during it because it was just nonstop. He was like, what the fuck is happening? There's so much screaming. Why are these women dressed like mummies? What is going on?
I never understood that. I came to Alucarda, of course, because of My Life with the Thrill Kill Cult.
Yeah.
I was looking for movies that they had sampled, and they took so many samples from that. And all I wanted to do was just go, like, here are the parts that they took. But I started watching that, and that just sort of, like, really ignited my curiosity about this director. And then I saw Mansion of Madness afterwards, which was very. I think that has a lot of that same magic that
Yeah.
Alucarda has.
I really dig Mary, Mary, Bloody Mary rewatch too. I think there's some cool stuff in that movie too.
It wasn't as crazy as I expected it to be, but it was still crazy.
Yeah, I mean, by comparison, it's like if he had never made anything else, you're like, this movie's crazy. But then he had already made like Alucarda, which is like peak, like crazy, and shot El Topo, the cameraman from El Topo, which is pretty wild. So, but I do love his movies. So,
there's screaming from that movie that they sampled that I recognize in their music. I'm like, that's from Alucarda.
Yeah. It's a very comfortable scream. It makes me happy. But yeah, I'm happy everybody dug this. Seems like I was worried people were like, "Ah, this movie sucks." Cool, whatever. It's fun, and I'm glad
this movie did not suck.
Yeah, I'm glad people were in the spirit of it. My least favorite thing is like whenever this is why I get so, people at work say, "Well, what should I be watching?" Like what, and I'm always like, I don't want to tell them stuff that I'm watching. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like I'm trying to keep it from anybody or anything, but I also realize, like, if I tell somebody to watch, like, a Polonia Brothers shot on video movie, they're going to be like, this movie doesn't make any sense. Splatter Farm, a dude shits a knife out. Why? I don't know. I've never figured it out. Just literally poops a knife out and then cuts his dick off with it. I don't know why. It's hilarious. It's weird. They're both 14 years old when they made it. It's like three teenagers making a total stream of conscious blast of insanity.
Wow.
John Stryker's bumped into De Palma. The aisle at one of his movies. And Linda Gillen told me she went on a date with Brian De Palma.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, she said he was really intense.
Also, I'm still amazed to this day that De Palma wrote The Crawl from Star Wars. Like, he hated the way that Star Wars looked the first time he saw it. He said, you should, like, catch people up to speed on what the fuck's going on. I'll write it. And then he just wrote the thing after seeing it.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah. It's pretty awesome. Like, I guess the first time he showed all of his friends Star Wars, he was like, what do you guys think? And everybody was like, boy, that's not good. And then he just got, like, raked over the coals for a while.
Those new Hollywood directors helped each other out.
Yeah. Yeah, which is pretty awesome.
So look at what it wrought, though.
Yeah.
Like with that kind of like enclosed environment that this product was coming out of. Now we're hearing about all the like dirty underbelly of it, with like the Me Too movement and everything. Like where it was sort of like, well, Hollywood was always like that, I guess.
Yeah.
The old Hollywood was terrible too.
Oh.
It's like you went there and you were destroyed. A lot of people were destroyed.
Yeah. Or you came out being the toughest person ever, like Joan, yelling at executives at Pepsi.
Is it still that?
I think so, yeah. I mean, I'm not there, so I don't know. I'll let you know when Stinkbug gets made. The cruel things I have to go through to get my Stinkbug movie made. A movie about
Stogies had it.
Hey, you want to see what came in the mail this week, Bill?
Yes, I'm dying to see.
Only 3 movies this week. Short week.
Oh.
The Ghosts of Monday, and this is from Cleopatra Records, Bill. I know you love when Cleopatra Records. Sorry, I should have waited.
Oh my God!
Yeah, there it is. Let's see. It is a television director who becomes embroiled in a supernatural conspiracy after he makes a pilot about a haunted hotel. Huh. So we'll see how that is. The Long Dark Trail. This is from MVD. I have not seen this yet.
We can't see it.
Oh,
there's a glare.
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh, there we go.
2 brothers running from home to escape it.
I respect that cover.
Yeah, the cover's really cool. And then it's from 88 Films. He keeps putting out really awesome Hong Kong stuff. Magnificent Warriors with Michelle Yeoh. So super excited. That picture
nice.
on the back. Or the machine.
Cubby approves.
Yeah, he loves Hong Kong Hong Kong action movies. That's all I got this week. But and then on the site this week, I'm finishing up 3 more days of shot on video stuff,
Nice.
and then Jess Franco February. Get ready. Have I watched enough Jess Franco movies last February? No. Will I watch 3 a day? Yeah. I'm already.
Yeah. Can we talk about that for a second? And you have a problem with Jess Franco.
You do,
don't you?
I do. Yeah. I mean, I love him. That's the problem. I like.
What's really with you and Jess Franco?
I love him. I really do. Like, I love the fact that they like when other directors were like, I can't get funding to make movies. He was just like, you know what? You got $300. Like, I'll just rent a hotel room and shoot this. Does it make any sense? No. I think it's trying to find the good stuff in the. I'm sifting for gold in the Destricts. That's how
I'm pretty fond of Faceless. I'm definitely a Faceless fan.
Faceless is great. I really dig it. I like. That's the thing is like his really good ones are really good.
Yeah.
His really bad ones are really bad, but we'll get
and also speaking of directors who deny their influences, Jess Franco claiming he had never seen or heard of Eyes Without a Face.
Oh
before making Faceless.
Yeah, like come on, buddy. Yeah, I know.
But I will say though that Faceless to me is a very original work, and if it was directly inspired by Eyes Without a Face, and it probably was, there are so many unique embellishments.
It's funny because the movies that he didn't like Bloody Moon, because it was like made for hire, I really like. Maybe it's not his vision, but it's more professional. But I'm excited.
You guys want to look at some more ads?
Oh,
Absolutely. Oh, I see a preview. I approve.
My head's the big one. Let's not look at my big head.
I know. I don't know how to make the one that I want, the larger box. But anyway, here, we'll just make it full screen here.
Yeah.
The Hunger, playing in London, 1983. This is a different ad design than we saw in the States, I think. I don't think they ran this one.
Wow, that's beautiful.
The one in the States had Catherine Deneuve, kind of like an Egyptian garb.
I love that poster.
Which, again, makes no sense unless you've read the book, but because they really do not go into that at all in the film. But
can we also talk about just the miracle of casting of these 3 actors in this one film? David Bowie, Catherine Deneuve, Susan Sarandon, this magnificent international cast. Unbelievable. Every time I watch the film, I don't know how it exists.
Lightning in a bottle.
Yeah.
Although that scene, that lovemaking scene is really silly. Between Susan Sarandon and Catherine Deneuve with those curtains
with the flower duet.
Everywhere. Yes. It's almost funny.
I really love that scene.
It's beautiful, but it's like so over the top.
Yeah.
And
of course the oh no moment. Spilling the drink on her side.
Oh yeah. The oldest trick in the book. I love this movie. Sam, you love this movie too, don't you? Oh wait, Sam wasn't even there.
No, what's up, Bill?
The Hunger. How do you feel about The Hunger? This is a cold opinion, a hot take from Sam.
I like it a lot.
Okay. That's not enough. I want you to tell us why you like it.
Pressure.
It's very of the time it was made, and
so much.
Bowie is very I love when he's in movies. Like, not that he made a ton of them, but
I mean, Man Who Fell to Earth, Labyrinth, Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence. Incredible performances.
Yeah. And I think this
what
is...
What couldn't he do?
Yeah. And I just... I love the scene, the makeup and stuff where I see he gets super old very quickly. It's got a lot of stuff in it, and it's beautiful. It's just like a gorgeous movie. I remember the first time I saw it, I was like, Tony Scott's underrated. I mean...
That scene where he's in the waiting room and he ages rapidly.
Yeah,
it's really astonishing.
Mm-hmm.
There was one stage in there where for a while he kind of really looked like that when he became older. It was very eerie to me that he resembled this character.
Yeah. And also, like, you
But
don't like to think of him as being old, as like rock stars are ageless.
no,
So that's like a really like gut punch thing.
his character in The Hunger went way past that age.
Oh yeah,
Into like the absolutely decrepit
Yeah.
period. Bowie, that never happened to him.
No.
And we had a nice photo booth scene in the Oracle that I think
Yes.
reminded you, Bill, of The Hunger. No Willem Dafoe cameo though.
No.
I don't know if you remember, but he appears outside the photo booth in The Hunger.
Oh yeah. He's like knocking on he wants to use the phone next. Brief moment there. So let's look at another ad.
Oh,
Beastmaster. Are we going to say it about HBO?
I mean, or TBS, either or. Yes.
No, HBO was Hey Beastmaster's on.
Yeah, TBS is the Beastmaster station.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that one.
I love the second Beastmaster a ton too, because they go to LA and it's like another dimension is Los Angeles, and it's real good. But I love that movie. Also, by the same director as Phantasm, which still blows my mind when you think about it.
Paul, I quote those same lines all the time. I love that scene so very much.
Man, if you look at this ad, how could you not go see this movie?
I don't know.
Like,
only a hard-hearted person wouldn't want to see this.
I mean, there's like Jaguars. There's like a weird guy in the background. There's an eagle logo. Man, there's a billion things going on here. All of them wonderful.
And speaking of Mark Singer, is either of you a V fan?
Oh, yes.
Yes. Absolutely.
Same. Jane Badler. My goodness.
I've talked about it on the show before, but the day after it aired, I think I was in fourth or sixth grade. And that's all kids could talk about, to the point that the teacher was just like, look, we're not getting anything done. Let's talk about FIFA. Get it all out of your system. And everybody was like, I just can't believe what's going on. Like, that these visitors are here on Earth, and it's like, what's going to happen next? It was like the best. You know what I mean? I felt bad for people who didn't get to watch it.
Yeah, that first miniseries is truly excellent.
The end of the first one, when the grandfather sprays the V over the painting.
Oh my God, that was amazing.
Oh my God, so good.
He's like, let me show you how we handle these.
Oh. That, and like, I love the idea that they merchandise the aliens before anyone met them. Like, kids already have toys of them. Like, they're so obsessed with them that they've made toys. And like, people are like, it's very Twilight Zone, where people are like, obviously nothing's wrong. These guys came here to help us. And then gradually Mark figures it out, and people are like, you shouldn't.
It's a cookbook.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Whoa. Yeah.
Look at those gorgeous halftones.
Ooh.
I love the type for Blood for Dracula here.
Yeah, in the UK, it went by its original title.
Yeah.
Of course, Blood for Dracula.
I like Flesh for Frankenstein better than Frankenstein 3D too.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're such evocative titles.
I have the 3D Blu-ray, and
How
I watched
angry
it
you
in
think
3D.
Warhol would be if he saw this ad that Paul Morrissey's name's as big as not bigger.
Yeah, well, he's not here to complain about it.
Yeah, exactly.
What's her name? Thought of that. Valerie Solanas.
Yeah.
She shot the hell out of Andy Warhol.
I love Lily Taylor so much. And
isn't she brilliant?
And everything.
You did what you wanted, Valerie. Why don't you just leave?
She has a style of acting that is always at least a little unhinged. Lily Taylor is just a wonderful treasure.
I totally agree.
I can't think of a more strange double feature.
Can we talk about the elephant in the room here?
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Cue the winged serpent and cruising.
Yeah.
My goodness.
I just don't even know. Like, this is
I don't know either.
Yeah. I mean,
and how about that quote from Time Out? Oscars all around for Q.
I mean, Michael Moriarty's awesome in Q. He's incredible in it. He's
who were huge champions of this was Siskel and Ebert.
Yeah.
Of Q the Winged Serpent.
They both like this movie.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's good to hear.
One of the first movies I ever rented, Bill.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I rented.
It might have been one of the first I rented too, because this is one I was dying to see when I was a kid.
We rented this, Ghostbusters, and what's the Raiders of Atlantis. Those were the first 3 movies I rented.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which
Wow.
that sounds super on brand, right?
I love that this dates back to your childhood.
Yeah.
I've also always loved the graphic of the Q and the promotional art for this film.
The first time I saw this as a kid, I was probably like 13, I'd say 12 or 13. And the scene where the window washer's head gets lopped off.
Yes.
My mom really wanted that to happen because we were unprepared for how rough this movie was going to get.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
the
then
topless bikini ladies in the pool.
Yeah. And then it turns into like a character study halfway through. And man, David Carradine's great in it. It's so good.
I was fascinated by the fact that there was this pool culture on the tops of these buildings in Manhattan.
Yeah.
I guess I was very naive about how the other half lives.
The only thing these 2 movies have in common is that they're set in New York.
Yes.
I mean,
they do have that in common.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
I guess that's the time.
It's like we're programming a show.
Becca threw in that the first movie she remembers renting is what Halloween 4 is probably the first movie you read. Yes, that was her first rental. She was 7.
Ooh.
Oh man.
Oh, I'm a big fan of that title graphic for Videodrome. I've seen it on a bunch of posters too.
So gorgeous. We didn't see anything like this in the States.
You know, there's a film poster for Videodrome featuring that image of Debbie Harry in that pose. And it's a half-sheet poster. It's predominantly red. See if you can find it on Google. It looks like 2001: A Space Odyssey, but it's a poster for Videodrome. It's really incredible.
Oh, wow.
The 2 things that blow my mind, well, 3 things blow my mind about this poster. 1, Rick Baker's title is as big as anybody else's, which is awesome.
Yeah.
2, they played the video of Undercover of the Night along with this when you went to see it, because that video was so violent that it didn't air.
Oh, the Rolling Stones Undercover, yeah.
Yeah. And then that Cronenberg's name is like that high up as well. Like, it feels like it's awesome. I mean, it would brought me in, but man, the tagline across the top is amazing. Everything about this is like, I'm sure you can guess.
They really sort of overplayed Debbie Harry's role in this film.
And also it seems like the whole movie revolves around her. She's out of the movie quite quickly.
Steve Wilson sees right through this.
I disagree.
Well, Steve, she was a selling point for this film.
Let me tell you.
Debbie had a pretty interesting film career. I love her in the frame story of Tales from the Dark Side, the movie.
Oh, she's wonderful.
Yeah, good call.
And, you know, she was also, I think it was called The Moth. She was in that episode of Tales from the Dark Side, the series, which is one of the best episodes of that series, in my opinion. She plays like a swamp witch.
Yeah,
but like a really glamorous one.
She was counting rice.
Yeah.
In that, she's like, oh, 1, 2, 3. Is that the right one? Am I thinking about it?
I think it is. Yeah, and she like performs magic in like the swamp cabin and turns water into milk or vice versa. It's been such a long time since I've seen it.
It's amazing that John Harrison touched so many. He did the music for Creep Show. He's directed episodes of the new Creep Show. He directed Tales from the Crypt, the movie. I mean, Tales from the Crypt, an episode of the HBO series, and he directed Tales from the Dark Side, the movie. It's like he hit like all the major, anthology movie, properties of the 80s. And man, I love Tales from the Dark Side, the movie.
I do too. Oh, and hey, going back to the Scary Cats conversation, The Cat from Hell segment. Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah. How could we forget that?
Hitman versus a Cat from Hell.
Yep.
There was a scary cat episode of that TV show Dark Room.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I've only seen a few episodes of that show, and they were really good. Like the one about the newscaster that is replaced with like a computer simulation. That was a really good episode. What's the cat one like?
It was a guy who broke into an old lady's house to rob her, and he killed her, and her cat was like stalking him.
Ooh.
She had this like
yeah.
And at one point he's like the cat goes under the bed, and he goes under the bed to go after it, and he looks under there, and the old lady is under there. She hisses at him.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
There is a an Alfred Hitchcock Presents episode that was kind of like the reverse. An old lady who took in a stray cat and kind of observed it on the streets defending itself against a dog, and she described its kind of defense or attack rather, as get in under and strike up. And the cat keeps making noise, and one of the neighbors unfortunately kills it, and the old lady blacks out, and that neighbor turns up dead, and the police question her, get nowhere, and she eventually remembers that she used like a kitchen knife to attack him, just like the cat would attack people, get in under and strike up. It was really great. Anyways, sorry if that was too long.
No.
Tangent.
Well, this ad is joyous to me, by the way.
That's what the third segment is for. Long tangents.
I love that.
Long shadows.
Playing it three Canon films, a Canon movie. Desi Arnaz doesn't get into the artwork though.
The only time I've seen this film, it was such a dark copy of the film. It was so it was unwatchable. I really need to find a better copy and give it another chance.
We saw a nice print at the drive-in.
Yeah, and the Kino Blu-ray is really nice looking too.
Nice.
Yeah. But they showed it 35 millimeter at the drive-in, didn't they? It looked really good. I mean, it was a little pinkish at the beginning, but I think it kind of like faded away.
It's still amazing that Pete Walker made it too. It doesn't like any of his other movies.
It's weird, isn't it? Yeah. I always forget this is a Pete Walker film.
Yeah.
It totally is.
Yeah, it doesn't have any of his stuff, any Pete Walker in it.
No, we reached the end. Sorry, that's it.
Those are wonderful ads.
Man,
there's a lot of
great UK ads have been just awesome.
What?
I'm looking at a folder on Bill's computer
of other
ads. I'm a Dick Moss fan. I love D-Lift.
Okay, let's look at it.
D-Lift is delightful.
You say it, I do it, John.
Oh man.
And it's like a horror film with a sci-fi twist. It's loads of fun, and it's the same director as Amsterdam, which is a giallo in Amsterdam with a killer kind of making his way through the city underwater in a diving suit through the canals. It's wild and wonderful.
Ooh, I've seen The Lift, but I haven't seen that one.
Oh, it has some really effective gore too. Amsterdam.
It's true.
Yeah. And Scent is really good that he did too. The movie.
Scent is wonderful about Santa Claus.
Yeah.
It's like a zombie bishop riding a spectral mare across the rooftops of Amsterdam. It's really stunning.
Yeah. It's a really dark holiday movie, but I love it. I like all his stuff actually. And not dislike a single of his movies that I've seen.
Same.
Thanks, Jim. I'm glad you like Candy Apple Blue. Check out their stuff on YouTube. And yeah, Darren, this is all perfect DIADF material. You may or may not be seeing all these films on the program. It just depends on how long you guys keep watching, because we'll keep doing the shows. next weekend we've got it's a late feature or late movie, 11 p.m. Saturday night. We'll be doing Mako Jaws of Death, or just the Jaws of Death, if you will.
Jaws of Death is it's like Jaws. You put of Death like 8-point underneath Jaws.
I'm sure we'll say this on the program next week, but Jaws of Death was it's Bill Griffey. I don't know. I think I'm pronouncing his last name correctly.
Better
Griffey.
than yes.
He made this, and he swears that he had this script already written by the time Jaws was a big hit. He said he wrote it before Jaws, but no one would pay to finance it until Jaws became a hit, and everybody was looking for shark films. So that's why it came out. And it really is not a Jaws ripoff. If you've ever seen his film Stanley, which is about a man and his pet rattlesnake, this is very similar.
Yeah.
To Stanley. Anyway, if you've seen Stanley, you've probably seen this one, and it'll be a lot of fun to watch.
There's an awesome Arrow box set of almost all of his films, outside of Hot Plane and one or two other ones. But it's a great set that I recommend.
Sam, it's weird. It's like you froze.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Oh no.
I don't know if it looks this way to the viewers. Yeah, you're frozen on.
Oh, I'm trapped in the Videodrome. which we all know Videodrome's in Pittsburgh. So I mean, the worst city in the world according to Videodrome. So
yeah, it can only exist in Pittsburgh.
It can only exist.
And it's here. Poor Debbie Harry.
A movie inspired by Joe D'Amato. So why don't I love it? It's, Cronenberg saw Emmanuel and the Cannibals, either that one or Emmanuel in America, and he was like, "Who is this for? What kind of people like this movie?" And that's where Videodrome comes from.
I'm totally waiting for you to be unfrozen to end the show.
Oh, man, it's a lot of prep. I can't do anything. Like, let me reset the camera. Let me see if I reset my camera, if it'll do anything.
You're gonna just go away.
No, I won't go away. How's that?
Still.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Still frozen. Okay, wait. I'll try refreshing.
Okay. Oh. Now Bill's gone away. How's that? Still frozen?
Well, we just came back. So now I don't see you at all.
Yeah, there's not even a rectangle there.
Wait, let's hide you for a second.
I'm not presented in broadcasting. Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Am I moving?
No.
Oh,
you're just this ghostly empty box. It's freaking me out, Sam Panico.
I'm inside the video game grid.
This is an interesting way to end the show, though. A disembodied Sam Panico voice.
A ghost, the Oracle.
Oh, something just appeared, but it's blank.
Well, that was me bringing in the end credits.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay.
Sam, anything else your disembodied voice wants to say?
Yeah.
Oh, you're back.
There you are. Hi.
I'm excited John was on the show. It was great to hang out and watch this and talk about films. I'm excited that hopefully you'll come back. And
I would love to. Again. Oh my goodness. This was a blast. So much fun. Thank you for introducing me to the Oracle.
Awesome. I'm glad you dug it. It's something out there. Another cat movie. Eye of the Cat's pretty good too. If you've never seen Eye of the Cat.
Yes, that's the one that uses really strange split screen techniques, right? Yeah, that's a neat one.
That was on TCM not too long ago.
Yeah,
nice.
It's funny because I had a bootleg of it for years, and then finally, Shock Factory put it out, and I was like, man,
excellent.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
That wheelchair scene.
Yeah. Anytime, I always say, but anytime old timey wheelchairs show up,
Yeah.
Something bad's gonna happen. Like,
Yeah.
especially like wickery kind of wheelchairs or long old wheelchairs. Just a bad scene.
Ask Trish Van Devere.
Yeah. Bill, I'm working on my 2 letterbox lists, by the way, of movies with poisoned milk and movies with stuff gets thrown into bathtubs. We kill people. Those are my 2 new lists.
I look forward to seeing those lists when they're finished.
Yeah. We'll program a whole show of like people getting
we already did a couple bathtub films.
Yeah. We'll do one where it's like you get bags of milk, like an Argento movie, and someone gets something injected into one of them. A prize.
Hey, somebody's putting out The Haunting of Julia on Blu-ray.
I know. It's Indicator, I think. It's a foreign one.
How about that? Finally.
Get that into this country. It was on Shudder for a little bit too. And man, I like that movie a lot. But yeah, I'm glad.
Also a Whitley Strieber book, I think. Or is it Peter Straub?
I think that one's Peter Straub. Whitley Strieber is I have a lot to say about him. It'll make me seem like a conspiracy nut, so I won't.
Oh. Well, now I'm really intrigued.
I know. Why would you open that can of worms right when we're going to end the show?
Ask my brother about it, about how much he dislikes Whitley Strieber. Okay. But anyway, he wrote Communion, obviously, about his experience with UFOs, but a lot of people within the UFO community feel that he was a disinformation agent hired by the government to kind of like tell, like, so that anybody that would tell a story would be a lot like his, and they'd be like, yeah, that's just like that movie. It's, you're just making things up. So supposedly that's true. I don't know if that's true or not. But he also like never talked about his UFO experiences until he made that book and got really famous, and then everything after that was like he started making a ton of money off it. Did I freeze again?
Sort of. Your
government. It's the government looking out. That's happening.
Right.
Like,
I know.
This is not a coincidence.
Yeah, I'm really trying to come up with weirder letterbox lists, like my Yinzer Jalo list of Jalo movies made in Pittsburgh. There's 10 of them. Yeah.
Your list that
you got to have Iron City instead of J&B.
The list you made of all the movies we've done on the show got a lot of hits this week.
It definitely did. I was super excited about that. Yeah.
It's
so helpful too because I'm always like, have we shown this? There's a list too for all the mixed drinks. So if you want to make the drinks at home,
absolutely.
You already know.
Hey, I meant to tell you though, you have the wrong Slipping into Darkness in your list.
Do I?
Yeah, there was a 1987 film called Slipping into Darkness, and that's the one you have in your list. That's not the one
I got to put the older.
Praise is the title you want to look for it under.
Okay, I will fix that. I get comments all the time from people. My favorite are like, I'll say the wrong name of somebody, and I get like a 10-page letter about it. And I was like, okay. I told you before, I got an angry letter about my bad review of The Angriest Dachshund, the Disney film. It was like, how dare you? And it was like, it just went on for a while, and I was like, I'm really bummed. I don't like that movie. But,
no, you reached them.
Yeah.
You got through.
Yeah. I put it up like 3 years ago. Like someone found it through the magic of the internet, and like this son of a bitch doesn't like it. And they literally said like this is written by someone that does not live in reality. And I was like, you're right. Like that's not an insult, I guess. Like I didn't take it bad. He probably meant it like this is gonna really crush him. And like it didn't. It was like, yeah, I don't live in reality.
We've got an X-Files fan in the chat. He wants to believe.
He does.
Don't we all want to believe?
Oh man. I'll recommend before we go a really goofy there's the Eyes Behind the Stars. It's like a Italian kind of sort of genre UFO movie.
Ooh.
Pretty awesome. Yeah.
That's
not Eyes Behind the Wall, which is another crazy genre about a husband that likes to watch his wife with other people, except the guy she's in love with, played by what's his name from Diabolic, is really gay and she doesn't realize it, and it ruins her life. It's a pretty wild movie. So yeah, I really like Italian UFO movies of the 70s. There's only a couple of them, but when you find them, you're like, man, they're really.
That's the song Sylvia forgot to record.
Oh man.
She recorded the one where nobody was calling her on the phone, Then she recorded a song about the snapshot she took of her husband with another woman. She forgot to record the song about where she found out her husband was gay.
Oh. Yeah, it's something else.
Do you even know what I'm talking about?
I know about Sylvia, yes.
Sylvia.
From our discussion of murder songs.
The country.
Sad songs.
Sylvia.
Country sad songs. Yeah.
Right.
That playlist that I made of those is I listened to it when I walked the other day, and I didn't want to. I was like, "This is heartbreaking." This whole 10 songs that'll just destroy you. All horrifying. Thanks, guys.
Next week on the Drive-In Asylum double feature, come hang out with us. It's Saturday at 11 p.m. Only one movie. It's going to be Mako, Jaws of Death, and we want to thank our special guest John McDevitt from Facets in Chicago for joining us tonight on the DIADF. It's been a long time.
Having me. Longtime fan, truly, of Groovy Doom and Drive-In Asylum.
And thank you for being my second ever in studio guest. What did you call this earlier?
The Sanctum.
Sanctum. I like that. And we hope to see all of you next week. Come hang out with us. We'll be looking for you. Stay safe.
Under 17 not admitted without parents or guardian. Under 17 not admitted without parents or guardian.